Good morning, beautiful people. Happy Monday. I'm back in the big chair with my Parisian screen behind me at my house. Hey Harry,
Hey Babz,
how are you?
pretty good. How you doing?
Harry, can I just tell you, because there's so much pollen, I've been affected by the pollen. This only happened like every once every 10, 15 years, I get a little bout of allergy kind of stuff. I had talked to my doctor. I said, I don't think this is still side effects from the shots. So he said, there's probably you're probably experiencing some allergies because of that high pollen count this year, unusually high, and it's affecting just about everybody.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, that's good to know.
this pollen is no joke. We had to close our windows yesterday because as hot as it was in our complex, there was some wind,
Uh-huh.
and it was for a gust where all this pollen came into our house. And it was just like, oh my God, it was just so horrible. Karen, who doesn't get allergies, she was sneezing and going crazy too. So we had to close
Yeah.
the windows.
Yeah, this season is affecting people who don't have I don't have allergies like that, Harry. But the doctor said people who don't have allergies are being affected too because it's
It's,
just so much pollen and
it's
not enough
bad.
rain. Not enough rain. This is what the end of the world is going to be like, Harry.
Oh,
With climate change.
well, let me tell you, it's like every May, every end of May going into June, it's my own private hell.
Listen,
Every year, every year.
listen. These dummies stockpiling gas. They ought to be stockpiling allergy medicine, Harry. Because when the end comes, global warming, whatever's going to get us first, zombies or climate change.
Well, you can't stockpile allergy medicine.
Why?
That's behind the counter.
I know, Harry, but they can't. You can go in there every day with your ID and buy what you want.
No, you can't.
What do you
No,
mean?
you're limited to whatever the box comes with, like 18 pills. Um, so I mean, the over-the-counter stuff you could, but that's not very effective. But the one with the D behind it, so
Yeah, but you could go to 5 different ones all day. Just keep doing
you're
that every day. They
it's
don't
all
track you.
yeah, it's in the system. They put you in the system. That's why they take your license. They swipe your license now. It's not just looking at your license anymore.
Oh, I
You
didn't know they were
actually
swiping your Harry, I just thought they just wanted to make sure you was over age, that you wasn't a
uh,
kid. I didn't see them swipe no license. I thought they just was taking it like you buy cigarettes. They want to make sure you of age. Because you
nah,
could go to any store.
they told me somebody they told me you should get any adults in your household because I was like, listen, my allergies. Look, I pop sometimes the 24-hour pills. I'll pop two, three, sometimes a day because it'd be so bad. So and it's supposed to be one for 24 hours. If I'm going through two or three in a day, that tells you my box is gonna be up in 8 days, and you're supposed to have 16 days worth. So I know I went to buy once and they told me, oh no, you can't buy to like in 10 days. And I was like, what? They're
Oh,
like,
you
send
could have went
somebody
to
from
a you could have went to a different store. Because I'm telling you, CVS is not talking to Walgreens
oh
and
so
Rite
now
Aid.
so now Karen and I have to go and buy
Just go to different
separately.
stores. You can go to different stores. They're not tracking you like that. They just want to make sure kids is not getting it. Because the reason why they're doing that because kids is mixing it with, cocaine and cooking it and all this other kind of stuff, making other drugs.
Nah, I'm telling you, they keep track of it because you make meth with these boxes.
That's what I know. But they're not tracking you like that. They just want to make sure kids not getting it. They're not tracking you like that. They just want to make sure you're not a kid. So, but anyway, it- listen, if there's a way to stockpile, people can figure that out. Because listen, global warming, climate change is real. That's going to be our end of the world. I know we like to think wars will do us in, Harry, and wars are trying to do us in. It'll be global warming because nobody cares about that. And you know what global warming is going to do? Usher in the zombie apocalypse. We damn near saw it with the pandemic. I've been
Yeah.
out. It's nice going out. Although I was in North Carolina, Harry, this weekend for a funeral, and people were masked up pretty good. Like people were at gas stations, restaurants. People were really taking this serious. I was very impressed.
That's good. I
I was
mean,
like, whoa.
it all depends, right? I mean, a lot of people aren't masking, but now you assume when people aren't masking is because they're vaccinated. Um,
I'm telling you, these dummies will always benefit from the work of the good people, the people who take it serious
yeah.
until they die.
So now it's just you got to take people at their word for it, right? Because you're not
Yeah, right, Harry? You do.
unless you force people to put their card on a lanyard and like ID.
I'm
You
wait.
know,
I'm
like,
waiting for the bar to be put on your skin.
yes.
A bar that'll hold all your banking information, your identification, and your virus status.
Wait. But to make it more biblically accurate, put it on the forehead.
No, that's not attractive. And you can
Yeah,
cover
but
that with makeup. No, you got to put it someplace inconspicuous, like your wrist or someplace where you could just swipe. You know, because you're not going to put your forehead on the swiper, but you'll put it on your wrist. It'll be decorative. You know, you'll put it here or you'll put it here. You know,
I'm
you do
seeing
your
more and more.
elbow.
I'm seeing more and more face tattoos.
Yeah, but that's for those kooky people. I'm have you know. I'm not putting no tattoos on my pretty face. That's just not happening. I was like, listen, pick a wrist, pick a forearm. You know,
Yeah.
that's it, and I'll go with that. That's what's gonna happen. We coming back around, coming back around.
Well, we're like right now we're in the global warming stage, but what
Did
point
you
does
see
it?
the Did you see the iceberg fall, Harry, in Antarctica?
Yeah, I think it's the largest piece of iceberg the ocean now. It's like huge.
Yes.
But the thing is that at what point do we switch from global warming to an ice age?
No.
Um,
I don't think we're gonna get an ice age.
I think that's what happens when at the edge of global warming is an ice age. Um, but it's eh, you know, I don't know. I'm pretty good in the cold.
No, you're not that good in that cold. To
No,
make an iceberg, Harry,
no more
is
people have died from the cold than heat. So yeah, I don't think I'm that good.
no,
I think this week
and
I saw
there's no buffalo hides that you can get to put on you.
on YouTube I saw this guy who runs marathons in the coldest parts of the earth and then runs them in the hottest parts of the earth. And he's conditioned his body so that he keeps his core body temperature no matter if he's in he's running in the snow in shorts in the Antarctic. He's crazy. So but his body temperature doesn't change whether he's in the desert or he's in the coldest part. I think that's the new person. I think he's evolving. I think eventually we all have to evolve.
We ain't all gonna get there, Harry.
I know.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
I was looking at super people, some documentary, and it's like they had this one guy who could swim underwater for 22 minutes. Now that's kind of, I don't know if he's evolving or going back to when we were fish.
I don't I don't understand the
I don't
point
know.
of any of that.
22 minutes. That's a long
I'm not
time.
trying to stand the water 22 minutes.
The average person could hold their breath from 30 seconds to 2 minutes. He's
Yeah.
going for 22.
Oh, I will be dead. Listen. I'm not even gonna play with you. I won't be able to do it.
That's some crazy stuff.
I might be able to get to 30 seconds, Harry, but after that, it's over.
I,
I'm
I
I'm
think it's
floating.
I think it's that we're becoming mutants. Something.
Well,
Some of
some
us are
people are.
evolving. Yeah, some of us are evolving to superhuman stuff.
But guess who ain't?
Well, that's part of the evolutionary process. So you think we stopped evolving? We have to continue to go somewhere. You don't know where, but this is a
Listen,
trip somewhere.
if we don't get our hands around this global climate stuff, we don't have to worry about it because all of us are gonna die off. And then the guy with the running into two climates will be alive. The guy with the 22 minutes in the underwater will be alive.
I know
There'll be,
a
the,
hand,
there'll be only two people. And they need a woman in there to procreate. So I don't know how that's gonna go.
it'll be a handful of people, right?
I won't be in that number.
It'll be a handful of, well, it'll be them and Elon Musk looking down on them from Mars.
Like, look at them. What are they doing? No. That's what I mean. We gotta figure this thing out. We gotta figure it out. We gotta figure it out fast. We ain't got not a whole lot of time.
I
We
don't
don't
know.
have a whole lot
I
of time.
I always feel like it's the end in the middle of like when it's really hot. Think to myself, what the hell is going on here? Is
Although
this
it was like 90 degrees yesterday, it felt good to me.
oh my god.
Oh, I loved it, Harry. Sat on my porch for hours.
It was
A-
90
And now
humid
today is only
with
gonna be 70.
90 humid with a lot of pollen. Oof.
It didn't feel humid to me. Feel humid. Felt good. It felt nice to sit out. So that's what I did. I sat out.
Yeah, there was a nice little desert wind.
Although I did watch started watching Underground, Amazon.
How is
And
it?
I told myself I was gonna watch 2 episodes. I ended up watching 5. There's only 10 episodes. It's good. You know what? It's like Roots for the intellectuals. It
How many
really is.
how many episodes?
10.
Then
It's like Roots for the intellectuals, Harry. I mean, it gives you a sense of slavery that it gives you a perspective of slavery that you don't get to see because they're not telling a gazillion stories, telling a few stories, and it's harrowing. Uh, you get a much more intimate look at slavery and its nastiness. Really, you do. And this is the book by Colton Whitehead, I believe, which I was gonna read, but now I'm watching the series, and the series is Barry Jenkins is the producer director or whatever, and it's well done. It's hard to look away. Uh, Very thought provoking. I wasn't gonna watch it, but somebody I know on Facebook, Scott Woods, wrote a piece that ended up in the New York Times talking about it. I thought, oh, I said I wasn't gonna watch any more of these kinds of stories. But when I read the piece, I thought, you know what? Let me fix myself to watch. I did. Good.
yeah, well, we're saving a lot of stuff
For vacation?
for the summer because how all the shows go away.
Yeah.
So we need stuff to binge on in the summer.
Yeah.
So yeah, so there's a lot of stuff that we just are not even looking at right now just because we know there's going to be days in the summer when we need stuff to see.
I'm just watching it because I like to be outside in the summer. Like uh, plus this is my summer of reading. I got a lot of reading to do behind way books.
But you're way behind on your, in the streets thing too.
Yes.
You're about a year and a half behind.
Yes. COVID wrecked it for everybody. But now people are coming back. He started people at the games at the Barclays Center. I don't know if I could have been in that group, Harry.
Oh,
I'm not ready to be in that kind of group.
the Knicks had over 15,000 people yesterday at the Garden.
I don't think I can have. I don't think I could be in that number yet.
Yeah. So and yeah, that's the difference, right? Because they're inside, they're indoors. Um. So yeah, so that makes a big difference than outside functions and everything. So it's pretty interesting to see if anybody, if there's it becomes not super spreader because a lot of people are vaccinated. You know,
I
if
mean, the
people,
numbers are dropping, Harry. So
yeah, they're dropping.
vaccination is working. No, I'm
I
telling you, these dummies that benefit from those that get vaccinated. That's really how it is.
I saw an article yesterday how the Indian variant. Um,
The Pfizer drug fights that.
yeah.
I
So
saw that.
I mean, with their limited, no, they don't have. It's all anecdotal now, but they're seeing that more and more. It looks like the Pfizer, the Pfizer vaccine is like the bomb. Like that's why if you look at the vaccine that's being okayed by the CDC, like for teenagers and everything, it's all the Pfizer vaccine. The other vaccines aren't even putting in.
Well, I mean,
So
I think it takes a lot of energy to do that, right? I think it takes a lot of energy to get yourself um, compliant with government regulations here. And
thank
Pfizer's
God,
been in this game a long time, so they know what to do.
thank God they're making the effort to do it because
Yeah, because we really be
yeah,
we still be a lockdown if these companies didn't have the wherewithal to make these vaccines as quickly as they can.
yeah. Talking about lockdown, Paul is doing a show tomorrow. He wants it to be a studio show. So he's going to be in the studio tomorrow doing one of his Dateline New Havens from there
With the guest or just him in the studio
with a guest.
not doing that.
Yeah. So I'm not going to be there tomorrow. I would have been, but I actually have stuff being delivered tomorrow that requires a signature. So yeah.
Paul is anxious. I'm not anxious like that.
No,
I don't care if I am vaccinated. I don't care if I do have an immune system that fights that kind of thing. Nope. I don't want to.
I hope he remembers how to use the board and everything.
Oh, he'll call you.
Oh, I know he already said he's gonna be there 15 minutes, but that doesn't mean everything's gonna go smooth. He realizes that.
Like, Paul, get there a half hour early. Don't get there 15 minutes before. Get there a half hour early so you can sit down, feel the vibe, and like remember stuff.
Yeah, and talk about that. I only cleaned the the host area. Right? So like where you would sit, I cleaned
Yeah.
all of that. I sanitized everything there. I didn't get to the other side of the studio because there was a lot of stuff that I had to move because they had painted in there. So there was stuff thrown around. So hopefully he's gonna clean the guest. Sure if Paul cleaner, but I remember when I first took over, I couldn't believe criticizing it, but I was just like, oh, I was
Yeah.
like, I think they hired me for my cleaning skill.
No, I don't think Paul's a cleaner.
So
Paul will just sit down and just be like, yeah, it's good. It's fine. I don't see anything. Like,
yeah,
nope, nope, nope. The
and
blacks and the Latinos ain't gonna be with you.
right, and Dan the man, the jazz guy, he's anxious to get back to doing his show.
Yeah, I know he is. Yeah.
So um, I'm gonna start going in and be there for him starting in June, so he could do a show. Yeah, now this is not an invitation for people to bring guests in the studio. Do not bring. He doesn't bring any guests. He doesn't do that. We're gonna keep guests on Zoom, and it's gonna be a hard thing. First off, I don't know how I'm gonna transition back into the studio doing everything I do from here. So it's gonna when we move back to the studio, the show's gonna get smaller, smaller, different. Um, we got to figure out how to do things and still have Zoom incorporated into the machines there. Because I run everything from here, so I have extra equipment and different. And we live in a little tiny space over there. I don't even have a desk. I have to sit outside on the table, do stuff. It's hard.
Well, you don't
And
gotta worry about me for a minute.
over there it's like 100 degrees. Harry doesn't work well in non-ventilated heat.
Mm. I think the only thing that I miss is just not having access to play music. But even when we play music, it shuts us down. So I'm
Yeah,
not really, so I don't really miss that, right? I mean, I missed it because I had access to it, but it would shut us down. So it would yank our shows and hold them till they clear them and they release. So that doesn't really serve us, except for the people
yeah.
that listen to us live. The people that listen to us live get it, but
Well, right. A lot of people are used to just catching us on Facebook. So start playing music, that eliminates that. So yeah, it's hard. Remember the good old days when Facebook was letting us play music. Or
I don't know. Maybe we could send them a note, Harry, saying, we are a radio station.
nope,
No, Harry's like,
doesn't work. Not
like they don't
even
care.
they artists have problems with their own music. So it's difficult, really difficult. Um, Facebook knocks off artists playing their own music. So it's like crazy.
Well, Facebook is a little crazy. We know that. Just by the stuff that they've been doing.
Yeah. But I mean, we don't need music, but if we want to do music shows, we just gotta do them on radio.
Yeah. Yeah. Fine.
Yeah.
Fine. And
Anyway, but gotta leave you for a while.
all right. I'll be
Welcome back.
here. Yes, yes, I'm back. Monday, Monday. La 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 la. So my cousin passed away. That's where I went to Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Wife and two daughters. I was in Winston-Salem. I had just gotten back from Martha's Vineyard. I was on my way to Martha's Vineyard. I got the call. Uh, really say what she wanted. She just said, call me back when I get a moment. I could tell in her voice something was happening. So I text my sister. I said, Lo, just call and find out about Dennis. I mean, I had a sense already. I just was trying to buy myself more until I got to the island and with it. Didn't do it on going on the ferry. I had called my sister and told her to just let them find out what was happening. So she did. Like, yeah, asked. So my sister and my brother and I, we hopped in the car drove down there. Went to the service. I got a chance to say a few words on behalf of the family. And then had dinner with my Aunt Nancy and her sister. Very nice. Salem, called Moselles. And I had some trout, big wedge piece of lettuce because I couldn't have all the things. Couldn't have the croutons. I couldn't have this, that, and the other thing because, butter. But it was good. And I had a North Carolina craft beer, my dish. Good. So it was a good time. And then we hopped on the road and came on back, dropped my sister off at Jersey, got on the road, came back to Connecticut. So I got back tired. So I missed celebrating my good friend Kay. Her mother coordinated a celebration of, so that was yesterday. I didn't get a chance to go. Exhausted. Rest. And rest I did. I got a lot of good rest. I've been sleeping well these last or so. Sleeping well. So, and I think it's because I've been taking Goldie by Tabitha outing, taking that. I think my system is starting to, it has calmed me down enough where I've been sleeping at night. Last night I had to take Benadryl because I really believe I am suffering with allergies at the moment. Like, honest to God, pollen in the air allergy. Ugh, drag, drag. But I went to bed early. I must have been asleep by 9 o'clock. It had to be about 9 o'clock. So yeah, I'm very hyped up about arts and ideas. I'm hyped up about Juneteenth is coming up. June is Black Music History Month. I'm excited about that. Things have opened up a great deal. I'm excited about that. Oh, I got new glasses. I'm excited about that. I've been wanting round glasses. Like I've seen lots of people, celebrities in round glasses, and I've seen them, and I just needed to find some that were big enough, that would float on my face the right way. Because there's some that are too small. That I don't want the small. I wanted this big frame. So they're red on the bottom and pink tortoise the top. I love them. It's such an interesting combination of color and style. I love them. And I gave up my little sparkly jewel blinked out one. And I may reorder those in another color. I may. But I just like this look. It's a good look. I feel very sophisticated. It's like a very sophisticated look. And I love the color because it's different. So I'm very happy. I got my new glasses. And I wasn't sure if I could wear round glasses with round head. I have a really big head. So I wasn't sure that this would float, but I took a chance. I will take a chance on glasses. I don't need, and I didn't, I bought them online. There wasn't no trying on. Put your picture on it, but and they do a good job. The thin, they're light. I got the transition. I go outside, they darken because my doctor has said you're a woman of a certain age, you have to protect your eyes too, so you need sunglasses. So for a while, I used to carry a pair of prescription sunglasses in my bag, but now that I can just get the lenses that just darken as I walk out, happier. Like I'm not carrying 3, 4 pair of glasses. I mean, I have sunglasses. Like if I wear my contact lenses, of course I have sunglasses for that. But I don't wear my contacts that much because I have my eyes dry out very quickly. I have to keep, wetting my eyes, and I just the pain. So I only save my contacts for like if I go somewhere and I really want to be glamorous. That's what I do. So other than that, though, so yes, I bought my glasses, and I've been buying glasses online for the last 20 years. They're just These frames are like $9, $10. You go to the eye doctors and buy their damn glasses. You walk out of there paying $300. It's like, are you kidding me? So with the lens and all that, these are less than $150. And I have a big prescription. So anyway, I like these very much. I like these very, very much. Very much. So yeah. So it's Monday. I guess I'll get myself geared up for all the things. I haven't really been paying attention to the news. Um, I know that the does Black Lives Matter in London has passed. Somebody assaulted her and killed her, shot her in the head. So last I heard, was killed. So now I'm reading the UK news. They're saying Sasha Johnson, Black Lives Matter activist, have may have been shot by mistake. That they were aiming for somebody else and got her. A terrible thing. Terrible, terrible. Shot in the head while in the garden of a South London property early on Sunday morning at a gathering of about 20 to 40 people. Are investigating whether somebody else at the gathering was the intended target. Johnson was hit by mistake, or whether the shooting was indiscriminate. So the police don't believe that the shooters were targeted or linked to activism at this stage. So they ask people to speculating motive and circumstance. So I hope they get to the bottom of it. Graduate of Oxford Brookes University, been a leading figure in the last summer's anti-racism protest, is a leading member of the Taking the Initiative Party, which has been described as Britain's first black-led political party. And that party said in a statement Sunday that the movement death threats. So can't be an activist without death threats. I really thought London had a better handle on gun control than we do. So, and I think they do for the most part. I don't think they have a lot of gun violence the way that we do here. Walking in the they kill you. But I hope I don't know if she's still alive or if she died. I'm not sure yet. By all accounts, they're working on a hospital. Half of the United States have fully been vaccinated, at least 50% of adults. That's encouraging. How we could get more people vaccinated. There's a lot of shootings across the country weekend. And listen, on my feed, people have been cooking cicadas. There's a whole story. For some, brood X cicadas are a bottomless uh, buffet. Billions of brood X cicadas are emerging after being underground 17 years. As many in the eastern U.S. anxiously await their arrival, others are preparing their place for what they say is a delicacy. Now, hear me now. I'm not eating. The only way I'll eat cicadas is the world, and it's the zombie apocalypse. There's no, all the Burger King possible Whoppers are shut down. Only way. So far this year, the cicadas have been spotted in D.C., several states, including Pennsylvania, Michigan, West Virginia, New York, and Georgia. The wing bugs did not emerge silently. The sound of the swarm can reach up to 100 decibels. So not only are they ugly, but they are loud. Oof. People have described so many bugs in one place that it appeared that the ground was moving. There are countless reports of people being covered in multiple cicadas. Jessica Fonzo, a professor of food policy and ethics at Hopkins University, told CSN on Friday that the insects are really important, are kind of an incredible moment. It is a true testimonial to nature's resilience. So all the major challenges we face, climate change, urbanization, loss of the plentiful diversity, it is incredible that they've survived, she said. The last time we saw these little critters was 17 years ago. They have just a couple of weeks to come above ground, mature, woo their mates, and breed, and then die. I mean, they look like Victorian bugs, like bugs from the Victorian era. Those glass, like stained glass wing looking, and those red eyes. But no, I'm not eating these. Oh, and I've eaten grasshoppers. I went to a few years back, went to a tequila tasting. It had bugs, and I drank and ate bugs. Not a lot, but before they can eat before they can meet the end of their natural life cycle, many will end up on people's plates. Not my plate. Uh, and maybe not in the US or Europe, Fonzo said, but because of the ick factor. But worldwide, billions of people consider the short lived insect special staple. Not me. In Mexico, many eat grasshoppers, Thailand, crickets, and in Kenya, termites. Uh, um, it's really common around the world to eat insects seasonally for their taste, for their nutritional importance, Fonzo said. Here in the United States, some Native American populations consider cicadas times of hardship when their land was taken from them. They faced starvation. For some Native American populations, these foods have a historical importance for their survival, but it's all about what you eat. Eating cicadas, Fonzo explained, is also good for the environment. How sway, so say. As the planet warms due to climate change, we need to think about our diets, Fonzo said. Food systems, the way we produce, the way we move around the world is contributing to 30% of the total greenhouse gas emissions. That is significant. We can change the way we produce food. I'm not eating cicadas unless it is exactly the end of the world or the zombie apocalypse. And they can be the same thing. The exact nutritional content of cicadas is not known. So why are we eating them and how do we know? He explained. But insects can go pound to pound with red meat, some nutrients. Insects, Fonzo said, are usually anywhere from 20 to 70% protein and have high amounts of iron and zinc. Don't care. One study published in the NFS journal in 2016 said that there are over 2,000 known edible insect edible common in 113. The protein content of insects varies depending on the type and development stage of the insect. Some edible insects, the study found, also have a reasonable amount of minerals and vitamins. Cicadas, Fonzo said, are definitely an alternative source of protein that humans can consume. Livestock particularly contributes a lot of greenhouse gas emissions, but they are also a major cause of forestation and biodiversity loss. So, what we can replace beef with, or at least decrease our consumption of some of these intensive environment footprint type foods, Fonzo said. Insects, along with smaller animals like chickens, plants-based proteins, all play a role not only for our nutrition, but for treading more lightly on the planet. And I get it. I get it. I feel it. I'm doing it. I just can't. I guess if they dry them out, fry them up, put them in a bowl, and they're crunchy. If I didn't know they were cicadas, maybe if you mix it in with my favorite kettle corn, I don't know. I don't know what you would do to get me to eat. I mean, if I won't eat grits, listen. I won't eat grits, baby, no, I'm not eating cicadas. And I've had grasshoppers, so it's not like not far away from that. I don't want to get in the habit of eating insects. That's my point. As I deliberately cut back on eating red meat, I've done, and pork, which I've done. Still have some bacon every again. I haven't had a beef burger in forever. I did have a steak go some time ago, but for the most part, I don't buy red meat, so I don't buy it to cook. If I'm somewhere, if I'm out to dinner, and it strikes my fancy, I will consider. Oh, that's the last time I had steak free at Shell and Bones. It wasn't a whole lot of meat. It was a little bit of meat, French fries, but that's it. I'm not going to buy beef. So yeah, and listen, my timeline, my Facebook timeline, people had their bowls, their plates filled with cicadas, thinking, oh, uh, not doing it. Oh, two reasons. World, zombie apocalypse, same, matter to me. So no, I'm not cicadas. And they're not going to be here long. They're going to do their thing, mate, procreate, and die, and then back. And I guess they'll come back in another 20. So, and I have not seen any in Connecticut yet. So, but my friends in DC have been posting pictures. They've been getting up close on them. Taking- taking- so, which is fine. And I know all the fancy photographers are taking pictures. So, yeah, 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 yeah. Tomorrow is the year anniversary of the George Floyd murder. Amazing how fast a year go by. Amazing. And I understand the president is still trying to get police reform legislation passed. So much done around police reform legislation, gun control. And I know people will fight back with this. Oh, we have gun laws, but we need gun laws with teeth, and they need to be enforced. No one should have access to firearms if they have domestic violence in their history or mental illness or any of the things that we know are warning signs for them to have guns. Come on. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Way. So I'm sure there'll be rallies all across this country tomorrow, and will be protesting, marching. There'll be rallies, and the weather is really good for it. So not that it matters, but for yeah. So um, I'm looking forward to the summer. That's all I'm gonna say. And my upcoming surgery, December. Looking forward to it. I tell you what, the first surgery, I've learned so much about what I need to do ahead of the surgery and what I need to do immediately after the surgery. I'd like to be up and running quickly, and I am up and running. I am. I still use my cane for a little bit of fatigue, but for the most part, I've been trying to be painless, and the pain has dissipated. Like I'm no longer on hard drugs. Happy about. Uh, just very happy about that. Um, I've not been paying it. I know that there was a ceasefire in the Middle East, and Israel's catching some smoke about the way they've been treating these Palestinians. So they're a little upset that the war of the world is not on their side. a great many Jewish people are like, this is stop it. And I'm talking Orthodox Jewish people, you know, they have been saying this is not how we want to be. We want to be rocking in the world. So um I don't know. I always think, when I see these kinds of things dust up after 20 years of none of this, what is the other hand doing? Like, I've learned enough about politics that what's in front of you not always the thing you should focus on. And even though this is horrific, the loss of life is tremendous. What are we not noticing by putting all our attention on this? Like what are they trying to do? Sleight of hand. You know what I mean? And if you learn nothing, I think Trump was very good at that. Look at me over here while over here dismantling stuff, right? Look at this, look at this, look at this bright, shiny thing. And all the while destroying all the gains that were made in the last 50 years. So he was a master of that kind of deception. And people are so gullible that we all run to the other side of the cruise ship to see what's happening. And then we realize at the back end of the cruise ship, that's where all the destruction is going on. Oh, um, I just hope we never get as deliberately spirited, not in the best interest of that guy as that guy, because don't care not one thing about public. Oh, and the people that support him know this, and they just want these votes. They just want votes. Voter suppression, food going on, right? Trying to undo all these. And now, we're fighting Roe v. Wade, the court. Got that knucklehead Clarence Thomas sitting up there just waiting to sort of dismantle. And I'm thinking, you know, just, I'm 58 years old. I don't want to be fighting these battles. I don't want to be, I don't want to having these fights about a woman's right. Women know what they need for themselves. Allow them. Because let me tell you, this is what I know true. If men could have babies, first of all, the population would drop. Second of all, there would be clinics on every corner. That men would not be inconvenienced by having to go far, have health care, to have reproductive care. That if men had to were able to have babies, it would be accessible everywhere. They could walk into the men's room if they wanted to and get reproductive care. Somehow or other, this wanting to enslave women's reproductive rights, just incredible. When you don't care nothing about women or children. Because if you cared about women and children, the United States would not be 50th in the world for its treatment of children. You can't tell me you care about children and we have so many children who are not cared for. Stop that hypocrisy. I would prefer if they just came out and said, and they pretty much are, I hate women, I hate children. And then they got women saying this. I hate women, I hate children. Because when you don't have legislation that supports, empowers, uplifts, and raises up women and their reproductive rights, then how are you not the Taliban? How are you not the Taliban? Explain this to me. Because to me, when you are enslaving women's reproductive rights, you are a terrorist and you are in opposition to the well-being and liberation of women. That's it. You could change the words and make it sweeter and make it sound like that's not what you're doing. But on closer look and closer examination, that's what you're doing. And here's the other foolish thing. Women of means are not going to be put out by road barriers to their reproductive health. If you're a woman of means, you can do whatever you want to do because money screams. Poor women don't have access like that. They don't have access. So you don't want poor women to have you don't want poor women to be empowered to make decisions on their reproductive health, but you also want to scorn them when they bring children into this world, as if women bring children into this world by themselves. The last time I checked, the last time I checked, the last time I checked, it takes a penis to help procreate. Now, that is what you heard about a jar. Poor women are not going to clinics and having petri dish babies. They're not getting inseminated. Poor women are not doing that. That's people of means and good health insurance can get that, can have that. So no one is talking about men. There should be a bill floating through Congress right now that says, if you are a man between the ages of 21 and 45, you should have a vasectomy. And it can be reversed. But these are the prime years that what we're so concerned about pregnant women, and illegitimate whatever they think illegitimacy is, or if people feel like, oh, too many women are having babies without husbands, which what does a husband got to do with anything? Then men should ante up and get vasectomies. Why are men having? It's a way more simpler procedure than women having tubes tied. It's an outpatient thing. All you gotta do is put your your family jewels on ice after the fact. So why aren't we having those conversations? Why are women's reproductive lives being enslaved? Why? When men walk around here doing all the impregnating. Why? But and then you want to do heinous stuff like, you know, uh, Fannie Lou Hamer, who was sterilized against her will. So many black and brown women sterilized against their will. So many women in prison prior to awareness sterilized in prisons. Why aren't we having conversation about vasectomies and sterilization for men? We're not, because why? Is sperm so precious that it can't, it can run free and rampant? Well, where do you think it goes? I like either these people don't know either people don't know the birds and the bees, or they just hate women. One or the other. And my money is on they hate women. Because if you still think that women can't make decisions based on their own needs, and you still trying to police their bodies, our bodies, see, I'm past reproductive years. Thank the Lord. But I mean, there's a lot of reasons why I couldn't have physical children, birth children. A lot. I'm not gonna go into it, but there's a lot. I mean, I was a trafficked kid, a lot of abuse, damage, mental, a lot of that. You know, so I'm not. I don't have a dog in this fight, except that I'm a woman and I want to see other women liberated, and I want to see other women have the freedom to make decisions on their reproductive health that makes sense for their lives. That is what you heard, about eugenics. We're not talking eugenics here. And when I slap the taste out of somebody's mouth if they mention Margaret Sanger and eugenics and all this other kind of stuff. Yes, that's what she was about. But listen, the Planned Parenthood Federation of America is addressing that. The sister that's heading it up now, she done spoke truth to power to that. So yeah, okay, Margaret Sanger, we see you, we hear you. We ain't with you. We know what you was about. But that doesn't mean that black women don't get opportunity to have agency over their bodies. Listen, every woman has the right to have agency over her own body and make decisions that are in her best interest. And if you just tune to LoveBabz, Love Talk, you're listening to me on 103.5 FM, WNHH Radio. We are live streaming on the New Haven Independent, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and wherever Harry us necessary to be. So I just wanted to say at the top of the hour because FCC housekeeping. But I just feel some kind of way. I just feel some kind of way about what this thing going all the way to the Supreme Court yet again. And they got some folks on that Supreme Court who are chopping at the bit, sort of do away with this, as if we have forgotten women in back alleys going to butchers, harming themselves because they know they can't bring another baby home. They can't, or they just want the freedom to live their lives. I just feel some kind of way about that. We need to stop enslaving women's reproductive rights. Have to stop that. It is not good for uh, a society that prides itself on being forward thinking and intellectual and uh, just civilized. Why are we enslaving women productively? Why are we doing that? Why? And then at the same time, we don't want to support them, and we don't want to support families. We don't. We This country doesn't want to support families. Thank God Rosa DeLauro uh, got this bill passed, and now there's some help coming for families. But look how long it took to do that. Just saying, I just feel some kind of way. I just, I'm just, you know what? The assault on womanhood is real. You know, they don't want to pay women what we, and when I say women, I mean all women. Then I break it down. White women get paid better than black women. Black women get paid better than Latino, right? So that's the hierarchy, right? That shouldn't be there. We don't need any of that kind of hierarchy. Whoever can do the damn job gets paid whatever the wage is. Outrageous. So this hatred of women got to stop. Has to stop. And we have the power and the means to stop it. We have the power and the means to stop it. So listen, women who have fought this fight not going to lay down and go away. They're going away. Just going to fight back. There'll be women and young women at that. Young women across this country will. You thought pink hats was overwhelming. Huh. You wait till women start showing up with pink vaginas. I'm gonna buy me a vagina necklace and hang it around my neck. And there's vagina jewelry and clitoris jewelry. I would get some and dare somebody to say something. I'll slap the taste out your mouth, baby. This is what happens when you get 58. You get 58, you have no fear of nothing. I'm not afraid of nothing. I know these youngsters is coming up, they gotta worry about career and who sees them. Not me. I'm on my trajectory is on a whole other I'm on a whole other plane. I don't care. If I lose a job, I get a job. Listen, at this point in my life, I love the jobs that I have, but if it gets too hot here and I'm forced out or whatever, I tell you what happened. I'll just go be somebody's greeter at Walmart. But I don't care about all this education. I mean, I care about it, but I'm not on anybody's fast track. I really don't see myself heading up another organization or profit. The most I'll be is somebody's board chair. I'm not doing anybody's day to day organization unless it's a foundation that I create, which not out of the realm of possibility. Not out of the realm of possibility. Because yeah, yeah. And I'm gonna tell you another thing too. I'm gonna tell you another little thing. These people. I'm not. I don't understand this look to retire. I'm not looking to retire. I'm always looking to do the next thing that interests me because I feel I'm always mindful of time and my own mortality. I don't want to sit around and do nothing. That's not. I'm not built that way. Now, listen. I love to do nothing, but I have an active imagination and an active brain. So retirement just means a shifting to go do something else. And that could be anything. I could retire and just start writing books. I could retire and paint. I could retire and cook. I could retire and crochet or knit. That's something, you know. I'm not going to do nothing. I get it. People are like they work 50 years someplace or whatever, and they want to stop working. I get it. But I've been fortunate enough in my life, in the last decade, to work jobs that didn't feel like work. You know what I mean? Like I know what it is. I've done. Listen, I worked at American Linen. I remember I worked at American Linen when I was a kid. When I was a high school kid, it was my part-time job. I worked in the offices filing work. And then my mother got me a job working on the floor one summer before college. Because she didn't want me to lose sight of why I was going to college. And because when I was working in the office, I was prissy, you know. I was with the ladies, I had lunch with the ladies. I could see my mother out there working on the floor. And but I was in the office where it was air conditioned, I had a desk and it was cute. Then one summer my mother said, you're gonna work out here on the floor, you're not gonna work. And then my mother had a good relationship with the big bosses. So they were like, no, 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 you can sit. No, no. I was like, no, this is a lesson I needed to get. Swear to God. And so I worked on the floor. Now American Linen is a commercial dry cleaning was a commercial dry cleaning company that sat there on Lock Street where the police, the Yale police and all that stuff was. And it sat there for 100 and some odd years before the building was demolished. Whole Yale complex, part of the Yale plantation complex. And that summer, before I went off to college, I worked with those ladies out there. With a commercial laundry is, hotels, restaurants, hospitals send their laundry, have a contract, have their laundry sent there, washed, sanitized, pressed, and folded. So I learned how to sort, dirty laundry. Like restaurants would just pull all their stuff off the tables, put it in a bag, and the same thing with the hospital. So I learned how to on the conveyor belts, learn how to get the get the get the bags of laundry, dirty laundry, and sort. Sometimes you'd find tip money, like tip money, lighters. I mean, cigarettes, packs of cigarettes, all kinds of stuff. People would leave just checkbooks. They would just forget. And they would just everything would get bundled up. So I learned how to sort that, but it's dirty work. You had to wear gloves. You had to be covered because it's just dirty work. And then I learned how to catch towels off the presser, a hot presser, fold them. And this is piecework. You know what piecework is? However many pieces you do, how by the hundreds in like 15 minutes, get extra money. And so these women taught me how to do it because they was not going to have me mess up their money. Because they make a salary, they make a minimum wage, but you could do piecework and get extra. And so they was not going to have this little girl messing up. Let me tell you something. I worked on that. I got really good at this. I have good hand-eye coordination. But my hands would swell like sausages at the end of the day because it was hot. You catching hot cotton off a roller, a press, and it would be spitting at you fast. You had to get it and fold, fold, fold. And those little ladies taught me how to do it because they were like, "Baby, you're not gonna mess up our piecemeal money." And I'm telling you, when you see that extra $200 in your check because you worked that hard, it's a necessary thing. And I got it with these women. I I was in solidarity with them. These women wasn't playing, and you have to stand on your feet. You have to stand up from the time you come in the morning. And work started at 7 o'clock and ended at 3. I learned how to do that. I learned how to wrangle big sheets coming off the pressers. I didn't really like the sheet because it just was it required a lot of physicality and I was in good shape in those days, but I didn't enjoy it. I enjoyed the piece work because it was fast, made the time go by, and I didn't have to think about it. I could just do it. I could do it. But so anyway, my mother, the message that she wanted me to get is want me working this hard for my life. Why she was in college. This is why her life to to pay for my life. And I'll never forget that. That was a huge lesson. I was mad at first, but as I look back on the years, it was probably was the best thing that could have happened to me because I stopped being prissy. I understood what work was. I did. I got a real lesson in what work was and how hard people work, how hard people work getting on their trying to keep a roof over kids' head and kids fed. So this is why I feel the way I do about women liberation and women's empowerment because I'm privileged. That's it. I'm privileged. I have way more opportunity than I ever had whole life, and I know that, and that's what you wanted. You know what I mean? Like I don't say that because I'm ashamed of it. I say it because this is what the ancestors wanted. They wanted us to get to a place where we're not in the fields picking cotton or tobacco or vegetables, unless it's our own farm and that's what we want to be doing. So no, retirement for me is not doing anything, not doing nothing. It's just moving on to the next thing that I've been chasing for my life. And I don't know what that is. I love this medium of conversational radio. I do. I love it. Uh, I love this platform that I get to have. I love it. I love the inner city paper because it's still standing. Say whatever you want about it. I don't really care because I understand what I'm trying to do. And I know when I get the calls from some of the housing complexes where the elderly live talking about, baby, I ain't get my paper. You know we like the paper over here. And every once in a while, I'll get that call because one of the drivers got a place, and they call me directly. Oh, trust and believe, baby. You know we like the paper over here. We didn't get it this week. You know we like the paper, and I'll go listen. I'll go get a pack of papers and take it over there my damn self because I know what that means to them. I know what that means, and I'm grateful. And there are people who are like, oh, the inner city, oh, I don't, oh, they have mistakes, and all they do is run the New Haven Independent stuff. Yes, you know what? Let me break it down to you. Now we run, now we, you know why this makes sense for us? Because print publications are going the way of the dinosaurs. They are. People get their news. People get their news in so many other ways, quick, fast, and a hurry. We live in a 24-hour digital news life cycle. 24 hours. You can get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and get news. You get news right now at 10, 18, get news. When the inner city was started, they understood that they were not competing with the immediate news cycle. That there was some value in news that had a long shelf life, that could travel and that made sense uh, to hear about. There's some news out there that doesn't need to be devoured and then spit out. There's some news out there, baby, that you got to walk with, refer to, go back to. And I feel that way about news. I feel that way about opinion pieces. I've done a lot of opinion pieces, and I'm deliberate about the opinion pieces I run because I think in our communities we need intelligent dialogue, and we need thought leaders out there talking about things and framing things so that we can see them about change. You understand what I'm saying? So when I see a Julianne Malivo talking about something from an economic lens because she's an economist and she's laying economics across Black Lives Matter, or she's laying economics across voting rights, baby, that's some stuff that we need to put our minds on and hear. That's why I run that. That's why I run some of the thought leaders that I run. Because first of all, they don't get the airtime in all the in white establishment. And yeah, no. The whitest thing on there's two white things in this country. Sunday mornings and churches across this country are very white and segregated. and news outlets, Sunday morning news outlets are very white and secular. So if you don't watch MSNBC on a Sunday morning and catch Ape Hart and the other sister hard pressed, or during the week on 7 o'clock, catch the other sister, then that's about all the black people you're gonna get. So I'm very thoughtful and mindful about how to frame out the conversation happening in our community. Listen, I'm not trying to play God or anything. I just know with all the education and smartness and experiences, I have a sense what's going on out there, and I want to give people the tools to fight back and to have the conversations necessary in their circles. That's really what I'm doing. So I'm just a content curator. You know, I'm an arms dealer of information. For y'all that like warring language, people like warring language. I'm an arms dealer of communication, of information. I'm an arms dealer of information. I don't even like saying it, but it's kind of funny, tongue in cheek. So yeah, I mean that's just what it is. So I'm living my best life with these two games that I get to. Somebody's outside playing. What happens when you live in the hood and you got to contend with people and their foolishness? They don't think about anybody else but themselves. Like who the hell wants to hear that kind of music at 10 o'clock in the morning? But yet they bring these cars around and they do it. And I told my daughter the other day, I said, I have a good mind to follow them where they live and just sit outside their door with my music pumping. And they might shoot at me. But I just find that just what kind of a person do you have to be to think I want the whole world to hear what I'm listening to? Damn you! And they'll let me park it. Let me just be in the middle of the street with it. I'm just saying. It just grates my nerves because that bass line is so loud. And then you start wishing ill on people. Like I hope it blows their eardrums. I hope they die a very nasty death. That kind of stuff. You don't really mean it, but there's some satisfaction in like if I could just go out there and shoot that car. Or I wouldn't want to shoot it. Take an axe to it. That would give me much more pleasure. Just hack that car up. Because that makes no sense. That they're out there playing that music that ridiculously loud. Stupid. But that's what it is. Let it go. Anyway, so back to that. So I get to work in these two mediums that I enjoy, and I think I'm relatively good at. I'm relatively things. And I think, when I think back to my childhood, like a lot of people, I remember I was one of these kids that like would talk so much in class. Oh, that the notes would go home to my mother. Talking so much in class. I and I know Miss Chapman knows what I do and where I am, so Chapman was always good. But I had other teachers who just always wanted to just like stop talking, stop talking. And I just want to say to these teachers, if you got a kid that talks so much, you know what they'll be. Just I know you need to control the classroom and rule the classroom. I get it. But in ruling the classroom and running the classroom, don't break a kid's spirit. Just recognize that maybe that little chatty catty kid grow up to be somebody who talks for a living. Those are all the little kids out there that's like yak, 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 and who won't shut up. Keep talking. It might give you a rewarding career. It might give you a rewarding career. So to all those teachers, knock it off and let these babies. I know you got to rule a class. I get it. I know. I know because I've been a what that's like. But still, find another way to sort of reroute that energy for the betterment of that classroom without breaking a little person's spirit. You know, 'cause, that's all I'm saying. And high five to Oprah and Prince Harry for trying to yet again raise the awareness around mental health and trauma. This is some good stuff because people are suffering or quietly suffering in the hell of their own making and not knowing how to free themselves, not knowing how to tell their family happened to. I bought the book. Tell me what has happened to you, or whatever, or what has happened to you. I hadn't read it yet. It's on my summer read. I have a stack of books for my. But I bought it immediately because I just love the title and the fact that we're talking about trauma right now. Um, is a big deal because this people are walking with so much lives. I mean, I don't know how, people always asking me how did I survive, and I never say I survived. I don't feel like I survived. I feel like I'm still trying to sort of make it through. And so to see somebody like a Prince Harry talk about his trauma, and I was watching a little bit of it on Morning America, and I didn't realize this. He said, he had to get out of London because London is a trigger for him, and for his whole life living with London as a trigger, and all the adults around, they didn't understand. They just suck it up, man up. You're royal. You have to. We all have to endure stuff. Endure it. And he's a little kid. And I hate when people make little kids try to do adult things. So the fact that he's talking about what that was like, I'm telling you, it will free so many other people. Now, the royal family might be pissed off because that's putting their business on Front Street. But listen, their business on Front Street has to be, it's going to be healing for people. And God knows they've taken enough from the populace. Now they need to be able to give back. And if this is the way that he frees himself as well as giving permission for other people to, I'm all for it. Because there are some things that money will not solve. I don't care. And this is a hard thing for people. People think, well, money, if I have enough money. But we've already seen people with so much money at their worst, at their absolute worst, who have fallen down the well, who've committed suicide, who who have done things to just create havoc, chaos, and they have money. So, but it can't be money. Now, money could buy you access to whatever it is, uh, the best and the brightest of therapists, I guess. But the therapists at every price point. There, there are therapists out there who will work with you for free. There are programs out there that want you to come get your healing. So I think somebody like a Prince Harry giving people permission to say, well, if Prince Harry, with all that he has and come through, can go and get some therapy, I too can do that at my where I'm at. And I think that that has got to be the message because people are carrying too much trauma, a lot of childhood hurt, a lot of childhood haunts. I get it because I'm one of those people, right? Uh, I just had a different track. I just decided just make room for the trauma, not try to. I mean, listen, I spent my time running from the trauma. I spent my time trying to forget the trauma. I spent my time trying to ignore the trauma to my detriment, almost to the loss of my life. Right? I get it. But once I just stopped running, it's like a bully. Like trauma's like a bully. Till you turn around and face it. You can't a bully will just chase you down till because that's what they do. So my trauma was like a bully. Like every time the faster I run, the faster it would run to me. So once I put my feet down on the ground and spun around and said, listen, it it immobilized it for a minute. And then I realized, what? If you're gonna follow me, you might as well come with me. Let me make space for you in the Babz caravan. And so that's ultimately how I saved my own life. I just made space for the trauma to exist in existence with everything else that was joyous and beautiful and celebratory in my life. Like I no longer ignored it. So when I felt bad, I was like, okay, I feel really bad. When I got dragged back to what has happened to me, I just went with it. I didn't try to fight it back like, oh, like you know how you if you're dragged, I didn't fight back. I just like, okay, I'm being dragged. And then I realized, okay, this is what dragging is. I'm sinking in this. And then and then once I acknowledged it, that's how I could rise back. And that's how I, if you want to say survive, that's how I got to this place of it doesn't it no longer controls me and I don't control it. I just accept that this is what has happened. This is part of my story, part of who I am. And it doesn't get in the way of my happiness. It does not get in the way of my happiness. So and that's how I'm able to stand up every single day with a smile on my face and purple hair and be my fabulous self. For some people, it takes more work than that, you know. And listen, it wasn't no walk in the park. It took me the better part of my life to figure this out, and I'm so glad that I did. But it took me forever to figure out how to make it happen to me. And it really started. Um, it started when I made the decision. It started when I made the decision to get married and adopt children. That was the beginning of building a life that I wanted, that I could build a life out of ashes, that I could build this life out of ashes. And I did. So like whatever the path is for people struggling, just know that there's some help out there. Like you don't have to any of this stuff by yourself. I did most of it by myself, but by myself in the sense that I went to formal therapy, and it just was suffocating to me, suffocating. So stopped it, and I never felt good in therapy. Uh, felt so, so I left it, and then I just started being following the. I read one book, and it would lead to another book. It would lead to another thing, another thing. So before I know it, I was building a foundation, goodness and support that I could draw from before I knew it. I was like, oh, okay, Brene Brown, I see you, girl. I'm gonna read everything about you. Oh, vulnerability. Okay, I'm gonna stand in vulnerability. I'm gonna spend the whole year learning how to be vulnerable, and then it has become my way of life. And vulnerability is really just truth telling own self and not letting fear dictate how you move. I tell the truth about everything in my life now. I tell the truth. That's it. There's no other way for me to roll. I tell the truth. And I'm not embarrassed by it and I don't hold any shame about it. That is my way of being vulnerable. That's how I stand. And I'm very good. I have learned to be very good at inventorying my life and telling the truth about my life. You know? And I've long since stopped working out my parents' relationship in my relationship. I don't know people who are doing that all the time. I don't got nothing to prove. So now I can be loved just for simply breathing. I don't have to show up more or less or anything. I know that I deserve to be loved because I exist. I don't try to be more or less. And I don't mess with people who try to make me be more or less. I don't. I do mess with people who I don't like to say mess with people. Mess is a very black kind of thing, you know. Rock with. I rock with people who are all about my empowerment, my betterment, my liberation, my healing, my joy. That's it. I only mess with people like that. I only rock with people like that. My whole circle was about that. My healing, my health, my joy, my liberation, my empowerment, my betterment. Those are the only people. And the folks who don't get with that are out. And that's how I set my life up. I don't sleep with people who I don't care about. Not anymore. I used to. Not anymore. I have to give a damn about you. A lot of dams. I have to care a great deal about you now. I used to didn't have to. I used to didn't have to know your name or at least your last name. But I don't get down like that. And that's it's not a moral thing. It's not a moral thing. It's a me thing. This is what I value now. This is what I value. Uh, So so this whole movement of mental health, particularly around trauma, is a big deal. And if people could walk in truth lives and tell the truth about their lives, and you don't have to do what I do. Like you don't have to put your business on Front Street. A lot of people are not going to do that. They're not going to do it. That's fine. But at some point you have to stand in the mirror and tell yourself the truth about how you're living, what you're doing, and make some peace with that. And don't beat yourself up about it, but just make the changes necessary so that you can live and be how you want to be. That's just it. That's just it. Otherwise, you just wasting time with every moment that you're not doing what you want to be doing or what you're called to do. And I believe so. I just want people to just. I think this thing that they're doing around trauma, raising awareness of that it will help some, and it will give permission for lives, change the trajectory of their lives so that they are not suffering. Because there's a lot of people unnecessarily sackcloth and ashes. I was one of these people. Listen. I spent a lot of time suffering design, by my own design, on a lot of levels for a lot of different reasons. Once I just said, I'm gonna get free. Once you're free and you taste freedom for taste, baby, can't ever go back to anybody's uh enslavement. Back to anybody's so I'm grateful. I'm not enslaved to debt or money. So I'm gonna get me a new car. I didn't want to my car. That's I got my eye. I had a thought about what kind of a car I wanted. I want I'd like to have a luxury car. So woman is built for comfort. So I want a luxury car. So I did a search on luxury cars, and there was a couple of articles on luxury cars under. And now these cars are like 10 years old. I was having this conversation. Like, well, why would you want a car 10 years? I was like, low. What difference does it make? I'm 58 years old. If I have the car for 2 or 3 years, I would be happy. If I only paid 10 grand for the damn car and I have it for 4 years, what? I don't want to buy a $45,000 car. I'm not doing that. At my age, I want to live within my means. But there are some luxury cars out there that I have a fancy for that I could get that will give me kind of vibe that I want and the price point that I want. I don't need to buy the $45,000 car. I can buy a luxury $10,000 car, 12, $13,000 car. Be like, okay, I'm cute, and I got the car of my dream. You know, that's the thinking. That's how you get what you want without And there's nobody I'm trying to keep up with. I'm just trying to keep up with me. But I'd like to have a luxury car in my life. I would. And I got my eye on one that I think I might be able to get. We'll see. And it won't break me. Because it's time for me to move from the mommy mobile. Even though I'm not, it's paid for this time. And I was like, oh, oh, gotta give it up. But I'm starting, when you're starting to put more money into a car than you should time. And this last time when I had to put in all these things, $1,000 worth of things, I was like, oh no, 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 no mas, no mas. It's time. And I don't want to just go get any old kind of car. I don't. I could just have what I want. And I can do it reasonably. So that's what I'm gonna do. Work this out. Get this out. I've got a little time. Got a little time. Get this out. Uh, Meanwhile, the world keeps turning, turning. Oh, and then American Idol. Somebody won last night. Okay, so I didn't really. I watch up until they get to like the final ones, and then if my final ones get in it, my final one is like I liked Willie. He was the runner up, but the other guy, a Case. Um, so I was like, okay, uh, that's good. I didn't watch it though. I did. I was season 19. So yeah, season. It was good. It was a good year. I enjoyed it very much. I enjoyed it very, very much. Uh, I enjoyed it. I tell you what, I I liked Arthur Gunn so much. Uh, but Chase Beckham won. He won season uh, the top three was Grace Hensler and Willie Spence, and I really liked. But the thing about American Idol, you don't have to win to become a superstar. Seen some of the people who didn't win become really great stars. So, uh, but it was good. So, but I enjoyed Arthur Gunn. Uh, uh, yeah. So I didn't. I would buy anything that Arthur Gunn. So yeah. Oh, I guess Arthur Gunn was supposed to appear, sing with Sheryl Crow, but he didn't show up or something. So Graham DeFranco stood in that spot. Okay. Uh, okay. So yeah. So I actually just like American Idol when it runs up to when it starts. I like the auditioning. I love the auditions because then I pick my favorites from the auditions and get through. Then Hollywood Week. And then once I start narrowing it down, I'm like, I kind of lose it. And then I sort of come back toward the end to see who actually wins. But I was so tired yesterday, I couldn't do it. I didn't want to watch. So I went to bed. I think I went to bed at 9 o'clock. My goal is, because I've been sleeping so well lately, my goal is 10 o'clock. I go to bed at 10 o'clock. I go to bed at 10 o'clock every night. Well, for the last 2 weeks. But I've been getting good sleep. So that's why. Yeah. Yeah. So I got a full week ahead this week. I got to, I think I have some guests coming. I think we'll see. If I don't, I'll book some people. I know I got Sinead Drawn from the Housing Authority is the new. I don't know if she's interim executive director, but I know her because we go to the same gym. Well, we were going to the same, but I know her. She's the AKA sister, so we're all the Divine Nine. So I know her from around and around and around. So I've known her. But I'm looking forward to having her on, talk about her leadership style and what that looks like for the housing authority forward. And then we'll see we'll see whoever else will we'll get into. We'll see. We'll figure it out. Happy to all kinds of people. It's just because that's what I do, talking to people. But I didn't want to have guests on a Monday coming back a long trip because anything could go wrong. And then we have learned on this show that Mondays is not to be fooled with. Mondays is not to be fooled with. So and I'll see if Dr. Brown wants to come. He hasn't been on for a minute. Tomorrow or whatever. We'll see. Well, we'll get a lineup. I tell you, having Dr. Brown on is a wonderful thing. People really enjoy him. Makes sense and smart. And I just enjoy my conversation. I have to catch up with Anru, how Anru is doing. Anru would like to come on. I know, been a tough time trying to move through these waters, COVID. But now that things are open, let me just send out my condolences to Christine Bartlett Josie, passed away. Live in the Caribbean. Parents, they spent. They're from St. Lucia, home to bury her mother. And those of us that have buried mothers know how isolating and rewarding it is to, first of all, honor your mother at the same time, hold sorrow for her passing. So I just want Christine Bartlett Josie to that I'm holding her and her prayers. I love her very much, and my heart goes out to her and her family at this moment. I just wanted to say that, you know, I just wanted to put that out before I left the show today, and just this is my circle. That's my universe. The integral part of that. Uh, and one of my sisters is out there living her best life. I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna say. But high five, girl. Get it in. That's all I'm gonna say. All I'm gonna say. Living her very best life, and I'm hella jealous. Hella jealous. All right. But not jealous to the point where I don't want to see her happy. Jealous to the point where, wow, I love everything that she's doing. Every single thing. So high five, girl. High five. That's all I'm gonna say. Can't say no more. Uh, can't say more. So we're about to wrap up. I'm about to get up out of here. Back. I'm here and you're here. So I'll be back tomorrow. And God bless Paul for going back into the studio. Go ahead, Paul. Go ahead. Go ahead, boy. Go ahead. Get down, get down, get down. So yeah, Paul's go back in the studio. Yes. It was very he's like, I'm vaccinated. I was like, okay, Paul. We'll see how this goes. As long as you can hear me on the radio here and see me, good. Listen, I haven't paid a parking ticket in a year and a half. For that, I am grateful, joyous about. I don't have to figure out how to hide my car, move my car. I don't have to do it really nice. At first, I was a little nervous about it, but I'm good now. All right, so y'all have a good day. Enjoy your day. I don't know who's up after me days, but stay tuned. This is community radio at the finest. This is WNHH Radio, 103.5 FM. I'm Babz Rawls-Ivy. This is LoveBabz, Love Talk, Monday through Friday, 9. Harry,
That's
get everything done?
yeah. So out of here.
Yes. Play some music. Let's go. Get them out, Harry.